Alright, here's a beautiful question. It asks you to solve this. In other words, find a value for y that makes this statement true. I see fractions, and so right away I'm going to start off with the I hate fraction rule. So I need to find a lowest common denominator and then multiply every term by that common denominator. So I've got a y, I have a y plus 2, oh, and I have a 3. I'll put that at the front. So I'm going to take and multiply each of my terms by 3y times y plus 2. Okay, so I have a 1 over y plus I have a 1 over y plus 2 equals, hey, where'd my pen go? Equals 1 over 3. Okay, so each one of those, this one, and this one, and this one, they all have to be multiplied by that lowest common denominator, which is 3 times y plus 2. 3 times y plus 2. 3 times y plus 2. Okay, good. So now there should be factors of 1 that I can eliminate. So here there's a y and there's a y. Notice I can't cancel this one with this y because it's attached with that plus 2. Can't cancel those. But this one and this one, that's a factor of 1. It goes. So I would just be left with 3 times y plus 2 times this 1. Okay, plus. Here's a y plus 2, there's a y plus 2. So for this term, I just have a 3y times 1 equals, on the other side, the 3, there's a factor of 1, that goes away. So I'm just left with y times y plus 2 times 1. Of course, when you multiply by 1, it doesn't change anything, so I don't have to worry about that. So this first one, I'm just going to have 3 times y, 3 times 2. So it'll be 3y plus 6 plus 3y times 1 is just 3y equals, not worrying about the 1, I'll just FOIL or distribute that. So it'll be y squared plus 2y. I sit back and I look at the equation, I see a y squared. It's a quadratic, so I need to bring everything to one side and then see what I can do with it. I could complete the square, I could factor it, I could use the formula, any of those tools. Okay, so since y squared is here already, let's just leave it there, and then let's bring everything else over. I'm going to try and do it all in my head. So 3y plus 3y is 6y. When I bring it over to this side, it'll be minus 6y. So 2y minus 6y would be a minus 4y. Then I have a 6 on this side. There's no other just normal numbers or constant numbers, so I'll just take the 6 over to the other side, make it negative. Okay, equals 0. So now I have it in the right format where I can see that a is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 4, and c is equal to negative 6. I guess I'm already going with the ABC thing because I looked at this and I thought two numbers that multiply to negative 6 add to negative 4. There aren't any. So I can either complete the square or I can do quadratic formula. Okay, so here we go. Here's our formula. Always a good idea to write it down before you use it, just so you are putting things in the right spots. Also, it's a great idea to, before you start plugging in numbers, just put brackets everywhere you see a letter. Square root of something squared minus 4 times something all over 2 times something. Okay, now let's go plug the somethings in. So b is a negative 4. Ooh, that could cause troubles. Negative 4 for b. A is a 1. C is a negative 6. And A is a 1. Okay, so simplifying a little bit here, I get minus a negative 4, that'd be positive 4, plus or minus the square root of minus 4 squared would be 16. Minus 4 times 1 is minus 4. Minus 4 times minus 6 is a positive 24. All divided by 2 times 1, or 2. Okay, let's keep going. That probably can simplify a bit more. 4 plus or minus the square root of that plus that is probably about 40 all over 2. At this point I'm feeling pretty good. Simplified that whole thing inside, but probably as a last step I'd want to see if I could simplify that radical. And I think I can, because the square root of 40 is the same thing as 4 times 10. Okay, so that's equal to 4 plus or minus, the square root of 4 is 2, so I can bring that out, root 10 all over 2. Now 2 will divide evenly into both those terms on the top, so I'll do that. Maybe I'll just rewrite it like this, 4 over 2 plus or minus 2 root 10 over 2. So you can see that 4 divided 2 is 2, plus or minus 2 divided by 2 is 1, so that'll just be root 10. Okay, so the value or values that would make that statement true up at the top, that one right there, would be 2 plus or minus root 10. Now, be nice always when you solve an equation to check it and plug your number back in. That'd be some pretty good math plugging that in. I'm not going to do that. I'm hoping I didn't make a mistake there, but when you get an answer like that, it's pretty tough to check it. You might just check your work here as opposed to plugging that back in. Okay, hopefully that helps.